2 of the TESPN podcast, reminiscing about the state football championship. We've got Mr. Joey Nuckols, Mr. Malcolm Bell, 2 of the coaches, and want to start. Coach Bell. This is actually think you're the first person to make a second podcast appearance this year, as we had you back early in the season after the first game with Devion and Tegan. But also maybe your last appearance, at least for a while, as you're going to be, leaving your full-time job at Trinity next week, I guess. But as you transition to a new role, can you just talk about what and you'll still be with the football program, which is fantastic. To be clear, which is huge. Best offensive coordinator in the state, best quarterback coach on the East Coast, and when he's coaching the NFL, we'll look back at these. Hopefully, you'll be on Fox and they'll show a little clip from this. But just your time working here at Trinity, I just want to give you a chance to reflect on it as you kind of wind down your day job here.
Yeah, I think about 6 years ago, Mr. Joe Aquay, Melissa Aquay's dad, asked me to just go over to Trinity and volunteer, and that's when I met Sam. At that point, he brought me on as a quarterback coach, and they saw all of the things that I did with my personal business and Undefeated. And so, everybody was kind of lobbying for me to kind of work here for the longest time. And so finally happened. I was a green teacher. Got to meet all of these guys over here, but it was a good experience to start. And then position opened up, and I got to do something that I'm super passionate about outside of football, and that's kind of content creation and digital marketing. Got an opportunity to do that in 2020. It's been the best experience ever because all of the students in the community makes it easy to feature. And we've kind of changed the game in terms of social media and our presence over the past 2.5 years. So forever indebted to this place. Met a lot of great people. And I'll continue to build those relationships because I'll probably be around here at all times anyway. But yeah, it's just been a great ride, and it's all love, and I've always felt love here. And this is just one of the few private schools that I feel like it just welcomes you in open arms and makes you feel like you belong. So super appreciative of Mr. Short and everybody that helped me along the way. And it's been a cool experience.
Well, you've done great work, and you will be very missed. But like you said, you still got your quarterback coming back and a ton of offensive weapons. So pressure's gonna be on for next year for that three-peat. I know y'all gonna have a big target, but you'll be here helping as the leadership, on the offensive side of the ball for sure.
Yep.
And then Mr. Nuckols, many students here have had you as an English teacher or rock and roll lit, the elective that you teach that I know is really popular. Maybe you're not in the Trinity community as widely known as a football coach as you are as a teacher, which speaks to what a great teacher you are. But talk about what you do on the football staff.
Sure. I'm the wide receivers coach.
That's a really good group you got.
I'm super lucky. It is sort of an embarrassment of riches at my position, and so they made me look good. I don't have to tell them as much as maybe anybody else because they do so well on their own. And we've been blessed to have really good leaders at the position, right? A kid like Trey Ferguson, who is just an absolute technician as a wide receiver and understands football, is so savvy in ways that most high school players are not. And I think so. His leadership has made my job even easier, and I'm going to miss him when he goes. But we obviously have some really bright up and coming kids, and the next kid who's kind of most similar to Trey is probably Brendan Ridley, who will step right into that role and kind of did a lot of that this year for us. Sort of exploded in a lot of ways actually, but he's kind of that technical football savvy kid that's going to help in that position group as well. So.
Yeah, you're talking about a position group that, you're looking at potentially 4 Division I players, and maybe could have been 5 if AK didn't get hurt, or maybe.
Yeah, I hope AK, that somebody will will take a chance on him. I mean, because he's shown it on film before that he has the talent. He worked his tail off to get back from, I mean, after 8 months from an ACL injury, it's just the most impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw him get on the field in the semifinal, I actually got a little choked up. Just I know everything he's been through, and he, and he had an impact in the championship game with a couple of times touching the ball and also some great blocking when we were able to, get Trey Grant running out wide, and AK had some great blocks out there.
Absolutely.
So obviously y'all were coaching on Saturday, but how did it feel for y'all as coaches seeing the kids work and put all the work into getting to a state championship? Like, how does it feel as a coach to help them achieve their goal?
It feels great. I think it's weird because you look at the team that we have and you automatically say, well, they're just good. Like, they're just better than everybody, and so they can just roll out of bed. And those guys don't have that approach. They allow us to really coach them hard and be very particular in the things that we want. And it's, player-led, but they also have respect for us to know that we know that we're going to put them in the best position possible every game. So, I mean, those guys are just, they're physical specimens, and they look really good on the field, but their minds are just in another place. And all of those guys have a mental toughness like I think no other team I've ever been around. So it's been a pleasure to be around those guys and kind of feel their love for football. They respect the game, they love it, and it shows every single day. So I think those guys have been a joy to coach, and I'm going to miss those 18 seniors because they made our jobs kind of easy at points.
I totally agree with all of that. I mean, it's easy to look at that team and see the physical attributes. And I think what is lost there, that people who aren't close with the program don't understand, is how smart these players are, and how football savvy they are, how much football they played before they even got to us, how much time, effort, and preparation they put into the physical side and the mental side. We at the end of the season, offensive practice, we do a few things out on the field, and we often go watch film for an hour of legit practice time. At that point, physically, we've done all the things that we kind of need to do. We've taught all those things physically that we feel like we need to, and now it's about execution for this specific game plan, and they nail it every week, time and time again. And it's just, I'm so impressed and so grateful for their attention and for their focus. It's just, it's a special group to coach.
Yeah, when you have groups like that, when everyone's on the same wavelength, everyone's pulling the same direction, or it's I always like to use the analogy, which I guess I thought I came up with this, but I guess PJ Fleck too. But like a crew team who's in complete unison. It feels like a great team in any sport is that same type of mindset that they're just all working collectively, and it felt like this team was that way. But all right, shifting gears a little bit, I want to ask a question that requires a bit of reflection. It's kind of might be a hard question, but I think it's a question that as a coach you need to think of. Just what would you all say? We'll start with Mr. Nuckols this time. Is your philosophy of coaching high school sports in a kind of macro sense?
Wow, I would have to ponder that to come up with a really good answer, I think. You're stumping me on this. This is tough. I mean, we have to remember that they are people first and athletes second. And so we need to treat them and give and demand respect first and foremost, right? And character building and going about things the right way. And we're so lucky that this group has done that. And so that's kind of the first box you want to check, I think, as a coach, is that you're treating your players with respect, and that they are learning how to respect others as a team and on the field, and sportsmanship and things like that. And just coaching commitment, I think would be the next thing. teaching them what it means to be committed to a goal, right? And how to really get after pursuing that goal.
Yeah, and I would also add, I think, and this is not meant to be a criticism of young people today, I think it's more the adults' fault of what we've created, but levels of commitment aren't what they were when we were kids, and just in general to things. Like, people are very quick, I feel like, to quit things these days, or not to give it fully, and some of it's just the distractions of modern life and technology. And so to see the commitment level like what you guys get, where I don't know about this past Sunday, but I know last year, like, y'all win the state championship on Saturday and a bunch of those guys are back on that field Sunday working to the next year is just truly remarkable. But yeah, same question, Coach Bell, just your kind of big picture philosophy of coaching high school athletes.
I would say like he kind of took it, but I think just thinking about the landscape of high school football in general and how it's changed since I was an athlete in high school, I think, kids start to specialize a little bit earlier, and their primary focus is on that sport. And I think as a high school coach, you have to understand that and meet that. You can't, oh, well, this is how we do it back in the day, and we're not going to do this extra practice, or we're not going to have the cameras out, or we're not going to do this, because that just creates tension with your program anyway. So I think just from a philosophical standpoint, just offensively, just being able to give them something that, like, they are going to need to know when they get to the next level. And thinking of what we do on both sides of the ball, it really prepares them for the next level. And where you think, guys like Davion, he just runs go routes. No, he doesn't. He understands the whole route tree. He understands route protection. He understands how to block. And those guys have to know all of those things when they play in our offense and defenses. So we want them to be really good when they leave us. And I think that's kind of my philosophy.
And you can see that play out, because I feel like we just talked about commitment, but I do feel like you are committed to always staying current, one step ahead of things. You never rest on your laurels. You're always studying. And I mean, of any probably coach in this building, I mean, we have a ton of amazing ones, but your commitment level to your craft has got to be right there at the top of just constantly studying to be the best quarterback trainer and offensive coach that you can be. And I think that the results are clearly shown, not just with this team, but also other quarterbacks that you've worked with that are in other schools in the region. Okay?
Yeah, so I have one last one. Mr. Nuckols, you played in high school, and Coach Bell, you played in college. How does your experiences playing in high school or in college help you coach younger athletes?
Can I start on this one?
Yeah.
I feel like you have to remember what it was like to be a high school player, to balance school and sports and your social life and your church life, or all the things you have outside of school, and understand that as a coach, I need to use the time that I'm given as wisely as possible, and try not to put undue burdens on students who have a really busy schedule. And we do a lot. We have a lot in the off season. We have a lot in the summer, and I think our kids are committed and they want to do that. But I also think we have to be respectful of their time. And I just remember feeling that crunch. I was a 3-sport varsity athlete in high school in the prep league, and just always remember how tired I was. And as a teacher coach, I feel like that's on my mind all the time. It's just my students' schedules and what the demands we place on young people. Try to be mindful of that. And how would I have reacted to the things that I say and do as a coach, and the things that I ask of my athletes as a coach? I think it's important to be reflective about your own experiences, and if you didn't do it at all, I think your players are going to see through some of that.
Yeah.
So before Coach Bell answers that, that's such a fantastic point you make, because I hear so many times our student athletes, they get a tremendous amount of homework in one class, or a coach has an expectation of they need to be at a 3.5-hour practice, And I hear kids say, like, don't they realize, like, we have other classes? Or don't they realize, like, this isn't my only sport? Or I also have homework, or I may even also have a job. So being mindful of individuals' time is something that I think too many people lose sight of. So I think that's a really brilliant answer, Coach.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's on me.
Yeah.
Repeat that question, please.
So like, how has your experiences being a high school athlete and a college athlete like helped you like coach younger athletes?
I think just looking back, my days of playing and the experiences, and not the good experiences, but kind of the bad experiences and the things that just didn't go right in my career. Just being able to kind of look at it and see it from, oh man, like I see what this kid is about to do, so I can kind of like stop him right there and let him know, hey, well, I was in the same shoes and I was just about to make this same mistake, whether it's in, you know, around the school community or if it's on the football field and they're, you know, not understanding something. And I just kind of, you know, reflect and think, well, you know, if I think of myself in that position, like, you know, how could I have changed what I did back in that time? So just looking at all the kind of negative experiences
It's a great answer.
and giving a positive.
Absolutely. All right, let's end with a little lightning round. We did it with the players. We'll do it with you guys. I'm not even sure what I'm going to ask yet, but we'll just say as it pops in my head. I will start with an easy one that hopefully will get us all in a good mood. Favorite NFL team?
Oh man, Commanders by default almost. I feel like I've been a terrible NFL fan my whole life. I'm a really loyal Carolina fan, you know that, and Atlanta Braves fan. But in the NFL, I've just like kind of toggled between teams.
I thought you were Commanders. I thought we were just going to have universal, like, all love.
I have to pick one. That's where I'm going.
As we film this, 6 and 5.
Can I say my fantasy football team? Can that? I mean,
No, absolutely not.
I'm probably more loyal to them. Honestly.
Commanders, it's painful at times.
All right, there we go. That was supposed to be a quick answer.
He never likes my answers.
I mean, that was like you talking to Mickens at lunch. Like, you got way too deep on that one. Okay, the coach in my life who had the most influence on me was?
For me, I guess it's easy. My dad. I was lucky enough to have my dad for 3 seasons of baseball, 2 seasons of football, 3 years of high school Latin. I mean, he was part of my everyday life, like at school, you know. And so, like, most of my lessons and things that I've taken away from my high school, my high school athletic career, I feel like relate back to him. He's a football and baseball coach. You know, that's what he did.
That's pretty cool.
He was a sports side coach, so the apple didn't fall very far there.
And I would say my coach, kind of like my uncle, Kenny Day, he kind of not introduced me to the position, but made me kind of the best at the position at the time, and still talk to him almost every day, and he's at almost every game, and took a picture with him in the state championship. So it's just cool, kind of all that stuff goes full circle. Like, I was the player, he was the coach, and now he's watching me kind of do almost the same things that he was doing. So
That's awesome. If I could go on a trip anywhere with my wife or fiance, we're going to.
You want to go first? Y'all probably have a plan.
I mean, I want to go to Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go to Tahiti. I want to go to the South Pacific.
Cool.
Excited.
Cool, right? Said anyway.
If you could have dinner with any 3 people, alive or dead, who are the 3 people at the table with you? Don't overthink it.
This is really tough.
It is tough.
Because you're going to get judged no matter what you say on this question, right?
I have 2. This is my 2 grandmothers. They're not here, but I'd love to have, you know, a sit down with them one more time.
See, that's a great answer. You can't go wrong with that answer. Golly, I have no idea, really.
Come on, Dwayne Allman.
I know. That's
Dale
an easy
Murphy.
answer for me. Dale Murphy. Never know. He's still alive, and maybe I'll meet him one day. Chipper, maybe Chipper would be cool. Or Smoltzy. I'm doing like sports stuff. I think Michael Jordan is probably my favorite like athlete of all time. I mean, I think he's also be a really interesting person to talk to. And yeah, brother Dwayne would be cool, I guess.
And my favorite current professional athlete is?
Ozzy Albies.
LeBron, universal. He's good at everything. Like businessman, killer on the court,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
My toughest opponent is,
As a coach,
take it how you will.
St. Christopher's.
Toughest opponent, myself.
And final one, if to sum up the 2022 Trinity Episcopal football team in 3 words or less.
Dedication, talent, execution.
The best ever.
Nice.
That was my 3. I was going to actually come back and finish it off with my 3 would be the best ever, at least in our school's football history. So congratulations to the team, all the coaches. Thanks to Coach Bell and Coach Nuckols for joining us today. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and we'll see you next time.